Good morning. The last couple of weeks, certainly a lot of positives as it pertains to the defensive performance. Going back to the Hall of Fame game after a rough couple of series, obviously we didn't get the start that we wanted, but I was really pleased with the way we came out of the locker room, and I started to see our style of play in the second half. Pressure on the quarterback, physicality. The run game was good all day. And I believe we got our feet underneath us, and we started to perform the way that we're capable of. So I was glad very encouraged with how we finished the ball game in Canton. And then last couple of days ago in Buffalo, a lot of production, ball production, production on the quarterback. Really pleased with how the starters played against their starters. They held down the run, they controlled the line of scrimmage, and then a heck of a play by Micah Baskerville to get the pick. And it's something that I see our linebackers do every single day, our plant and drive drills, and to take the ball and score. So a lot of positives. What I told the defense was it was a good step. We've got a long way to go, and we're not going to bask in that. We have a 24-hour rule. Either way, we're done with it, and we're moving on. So big challenge this week with Cincinnati coming in here to practice and getting ready to play our first game, preseason game at home. So we're excited about that. With that, I'll take your questions.
What do you make of Austin Booker's preseason?
He's getting better, and he's doing some good things. He had some production on the quarterback. He was physical with his rushes. He never gave up on his rushes. He kept himself in contention, so he's doing some really nice things.
What is your level of concern that Sweat will be ready to go in week one and that he'll be ready to hit the ground running after missing a little bit stretch here?
I don't have any concerns as far as his readiness and availability on week one. Montez was out today. He's taken a step toward getting back to practice in a limited basis. He was able to do some individual, and he's making progress and trending in the right direction as far as getting 100% healthy.
Does your defense need to be whole? I mean, you've got Brisker out, Gordon out, obviously, for a while. Three or four guys have been missing almost every time. Does your defense, even if everyone's ready in week one, does your defense need to be whole for a period of time, a week, 2 weeks, whatever, to really be able to, like I said, hit the ground running in week one?
Good question. It's always better when we can have guys out and they're available to be out working. And in an ideal situation, we want that core, the guys that we've identified as being the starters, that first line group, to be out there working together. But we also have a next man up mentality. If someone's not available, we have to make sure that the next couple of players are ready to go and that we can continue to perform the way we know we're capable of as a unit. So hopefully, ideally, we start to get guys back. Kyler, we get Montez out there. We get Tyreek back out, and they can practice for an extended period of time. That's ideal. But at the same time, we have to be ready for if anyone's not available.
We've heard people talk about Booker in the sense that he's a little unorthodox and that he kind of makes his decision on what he's doing as he's engaging. Does anybody else do that? I mean, does it remind you of anybody, and where do you think it comes from?
Well, I think he's got an innate feel, and the good rushers are hard to hit. They're hard to stall, and they understand at max speed how to engage their hands, how to contort their body, how to counter at max speed without having to slow themselves down and allow the protection to kind of catch up with what they're doing, whether they're staying outside or trying to work inside. He has a great feel for that, and right now what he's going through is taking what he brings to the table and combining that with all of the other details that he has to have from an assignment standpoint, situationally, so he can play good, clean football and we can get maximum benefit from what he can do.
How does the guy have a feel when he only plays 500 snaps in college?
Well, that's a great question. That's just what he's blessed with, his God-given talent, and also what he's done before he even got here in terms of just understanding that position, the game of football, and how to rush and against protections and some of those things. So a lot of credit goes to him and what he's able to do.
You guys had Daniel Hardy on the practice squad last season. You've been able to see him out here a little bit more with pads on than you probably would have last year. Anything stand out as you've sort of been evaluating him?
Sure. His production has been really good. In practice, you saw glimpses of that. I've seen glimpses of that before as we've moved through the offseason and throughout training camp. And he's finding a way to factor during the preseason games. He's finding a way to win, to do it with the level of urgency that we need when we're rushing 4 guys, and he's in tremendous conditioning. His conditioning is outstanding.
Coach, we knew that Austin Booker had the speed and the bendability. Is he further along maybe in his counter moves and even his ability to set the edge in the run game than you thought?
Well, he's making good progress, and I'm gonna make sure that I maintain perspective with him. I don't want to get ahead of myself with Austin. He's had a couple of good showings, and I'm not trying to diminish what he did, but there's a long way to go in this process of being game ready. When it's outside of the preseason, so he's doing a good job. Even today, this practice, just going from that performance and coming back down to earth and just blocking out all of the noise. Some of the praise and adulation, those things can be as toxic as listening to some of the negative things. So we have to just make sure that we maintain a level head and just continue to work.
How valuable has it been to have Billings and to have Sweat and DeMarcus there for him as he's learning?
Well, extremely valuable because those guys are so generous in giving Austin the benefit of their experiences. They're extremely generous. They care about the group and how potent our group is in terms of being able to be a factor as they're rushing. And so they're generous. They're there to help and to lend their perspective. And so that's been really cool.
We saw Jake Martin out there today with the rehab stuff, and I know we haven't seen him for a little bit. Where is he at just as far as trying to get back on the field?
Just making progress he's making steady progress toward getting back out there. And, I'm excited about what he communicated to me today as far as how he feels. And the fact that he was out there on the grass today as opposed to being inside, I think that's a positive sign.
What's the biggest thing you take away from a joint practice as a defensive coach?
Well, we just get a chance to work against another group as opposed to working against each other. We're gonna have different looks. We're gonna have a different skill set across the board, and it's just an opportunity for us to work against a different unit and to have to adjust, if you will, on the fly without the benefit of going and game planning and doing those sorts of things. Just to see our players respond and react with the things that are going to be presented to us.
When you're facing one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, too, I imagine that's only helpful.
Well, he certainly adds a dimension to all of that because of who he is and what he's capable of doing. It's an outstanding offense. I've had direct experience with that. And it just gives us a chance to face, an outstanding group, an outstanding offense. And we've been facing our own offense for a couple of weeks, and now it gives us a chance to look at somebody else.
Anyone stand out to you in the secondary with Kyler out for a long time, Brisker out for a bunch, Tyreek's been out for a while now, you've had to move different parts in there. Anyone kind of catch your eye a little bit?
Yeah, Josh Blackwell has done a really nice job. And, playing the nickel position, really like how he's been working. So he's really stepped up. Obviously, some of the mainstays, Kevin Byard has been steady. He's been outstanding out there, and so just watching him not only in practice but the first preseason action. But that's what I would say there.
From your coordinator's perspective, what is how much of a need do you feel to have your guys play in the game on Saturday as opposed to just using the crossover practice as the game experience, the full speed experience?
The experience I'm sorry.
How much do you feel like you need your guys to play in the game, in the actual preseason game, as opposed to just letting it, like last year the Bears played 2 crossovers against the Colts, nobody started in the game.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you feel the need this week to see your guys in the game, or just a little practice do? Yeah,
well, we're continuing. We're on a ramp up kind of mentality. We want to, we want to continue to see the defense, the guys that we're going to be counting on, and the guys that are competing to make the team. We want to continue to see them in live action and to see them in different situations. So I think the experience in a preseason game is important. Obviously, Coach Eberflus will make the final call on the specifics of that. But I think it's always valuable when we can get out and we can compete and we can kind of test the boundaries of our system and test the things that are really core values for us.
Matchup-wise, does it matter that the Bengals aren't going to be playing their starters?
No, I don't think so. I think what matters is, like I just mentioned, just where are we with our installation? Where are we with our defensive process and just where are we as it pertains to certain members of our team.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.